All right, and three hands or hips, right, left, up, set, net, toss, yes, go, good, heel down, up, two, set, net, toss, yes, go, good, heel over your shoulder, two, set, net, toss, yes, go, good, heel head circles, two, set, net, switch, two, set, net, switch, two, set, net, switch, toss, yes. Go. Yo, arms raised forwards. Do set, net, toss, yes. Yo, do yo backwards. Set, net, toss, yes. Yo, do yo forward and back. Do set, net, toss, yes. Yo, do yo other way. Do set, net, toss, yes. Yo, do yo arms up in front, bend straight. Do set, net, toss. Yes, in, yo, side stretch, do set, net, switch, do set, net, switch, do set, net, switch, does, yes, yo, rise and twist, do set, net, does, yes, yo, hip circles, do set, net, does, yes, yo, other way, do set, net, das, yes, yo, and knee circles, do set, net, das, yes, yo, other way, do set, net, das, yes, yo, together both knee circle, do set, net, das, yes, yo, other way, do set, net, das, yes, yo, feet apart, hang through and squat over two, hang, do squat, set, net, hang, do squat, set, net, hang, do squat, set, net, hang, das, yes, squat, yo, do hang down, shift your weight, do set, net, das, yes, yo, yo, rise, okay. What we're going to do today is different than most ones we've done. I started doing this recently. I try to do, there's 8 exercises we're going to do. I try and do about 1 an hour or so. And it's especially important if you sit a lot or stand a lot. So if you're standing for multiple periods or multiple hours without changing your standing position, or sitting for multiple hours, these are designed to help correct the bad posture and weird physiological defects you tend to get. Basics is your belly goes out and your shoulders hunch forward, and you get this hunchback position. And there's a bunch of other things you can get asymmetries. If you tend to, like, if you're standing, you tend to lean on one foot, or you're sitting, you tend to sit with one ankle crossed or something, then you don't notice because you're absorbing what else you're doing. And that's how sometimes if you get up and you're really stiff or something's asleep, it means you were sitting in a way. Or if you're standing and you finish standing and you're really sore somewhere, like your back is sore, often it's because it's not just the sitting or just the standing, it's the way you were doing it, but you weren't focused on your body, and so you didn't notice that it hurt or was slightly uncomfortable until finally you get up and you're like, oh, ooh, that's really sore, and my arm is tingly or whatever. So there's 8 different exercises we're going to do, and I try and do these every 45 minutes to an hour. I actually have a reminder on my phone that goes off once an hour, and I'll stop whatever I'm doing, get up, do whatever it is. Most of them, it's only about 30 seconds or 10 reps, so it doesn't take very much time. I don't know if it makes a difference yet because I've been doing it long enough. I just started it this week. But I think they are theoretically helpful enough that I wanted to share. So some of the first 4 are upper body ones, and then the next 4 are lower body ones. So to start off, the first one, you're going to need a wall. I'll turn it here. I've got a wall. Okay. So this one has 2 components to it. Turn the camera so I can see if you can see me. Okay, so I'm going to have my arms out at a 90-degree angle. I guess I'll show you here. And you're going to have your lower back and your upper back both pressed up against the wall. If you've ever done wall angels before, those ones are really helpful too, but this is a different variant on that. So my lower back and my upper back are pressed against the wall. The back of my head is touching the wall. And then all you're going to do is duck your chin, and then with your
elbows and the backs of your hands against the wall. You're going to slide up as far as you can and tuck your chin as hard as you can, then come down. Then at the bottom, you're going to bring your hands in and then go out, and you're going to try and, with your elbows on the wall, try and touch your hands to the wall and feel a little bit of stretch there. And I'll go back, I'll go up as high as I can. My lower back, my upper back, and the back of my head are touching as high as I can. Bring it in, then hands come in. You want to make a W, so it's not here. Your hands are slightly up, so here's the W, and then swing in and out to stretch out your shoulders. Okay, and do that 10 times. So, again, lower back, upper back, and head all touching. Duck your chin, reach up as high as you can. And then at the end, hold for maybe a second. Come back down, hands make a W, come in, come out, and then repeat. Hold where you feel the stretch just for a second. And make sure your hands are about as high as your head, not straight out, not below. So your elbows are about shoulder height on the W, and then they come out as high as your head. And then trying to keep your lower back, head, and upper back all against the wall the whole time. Really duck your chin down on the way up. Hold. Helps to breathe too. And then W, in, out. Keep going, a few more. And if you're feeling a stretch or a burn somewhere, then the good news is that's helping. The bad news is you probably have some postural related soreness. Most of us do, because we spend a lot of time, especially these days, on the computer. Okay, next one, if you have a belt, you're going to take that off real quick. If you don't have a belt, you can get something like a bathroom towel, something long enough you can have your hands apart, wider than your shoulders. A dish towel is usually too small unless your shoulders are really flexible. So you're apart a little bit, more than shoulder width. You'll find the right distance for you. And all you're going to do is slowly lift your arms straight up and then around behind, trying to move both hands equally. If you're not able to go equally, then go a little wider. Then slowly back up. The up part usually will feel a stretch, so do that part especially slow, and then down. We're going to do 10 of these. That's one. And if you feel like one side has to go first, then go wider, because you want to have both sides go equally. And if it feels easy, you can try narrowing it. But if you find you have one side wanting to go first, then go back wider, because you want both arms to be equal. You're going to definitely feel on most of these. Most of us have asymmetries. One side is much tighter than the other. And try and keep your, like we usually do, belly button tucked, pelvis tucked under, and then try and lift your head up. It's going to want to tuck down. Again, go slow, especially this part where you start to feel a bit tight. That's where you want to go the slowest to get the stretch. So once your arms are about 45 degrees up to about 45 degrees back, that's where you want to slow, and then the rest part you can just go a little faster. You also want to be pulling the towel apart slightly, so it's not just slack. You want to have a little bit of engagement there. Yeah. And again, if this is sore or tight, good news is this is helping. Bad news is again, you probably have some sitting or standing related postural stuff. We'll do a few more. Try and breathe too. Hips tucked, so pelvis is tucked under, belly button's pulled back, glutes are slightly engaged, head is lifted. I definitely feel my left side is tighter, which is surprising because normally I feel my right side is the tight side. A couple more. And if you're not feeling anything, just move your hands closer together, and I almost guarantee you're going to feel something. until, I think the goal is eventually be able to do this with your hands at shoulder width and be able to go all the way back. That seems like a long ways away right now. Okay, so you can set that aside. I don't think we need it for any of the rest of these. I jotted these down just because I've been using this as a cheat sheet to make sure I do these. They say the order is somewhat important. Okay, so next is Cobra position from yoga. So we're gonna go down to the floor and I'm gonna go sideways so you can see. I'm gonna have my feet about a shoulder width apart. My ankles are extended. My belt back. We have a belt. My hands are directly under my shoulders. I'm gonna roll my shoulders up, back, and down, and squeeze my shoulder blades together slightly. I'm gonna engage my thighs. So I'm not just gonna have my legs relax. I'm gonna tighten my thighs so they start to lift up off the ground. And then I'm gonna try and lift, not using my hands. I'm gonna try and lift using my back. I can use my hands a little bit. And I wanna go slowly, some stretching up my back, and then look up also. And then the top hold for 1 or 2 deep breaths. You probably feel more of a stretch as you breathe in. And then slowly go down. You're trying to engage each vertebra. If you go fast, you won't as much. Again, keep your glutes engaged, pelvis tucked, thighs engaged. And again, trying to use your back muscles to lift. Your hands can help a little bit, but you want 90% of it to be your back. And then looking up behind you, and then hold at the top. Breathe deep. You're gonna feel it more of a stretch as you breathe in. And then slowly lower back down. That's 2. We're gonna 8 more of these. So thighs engaged, glutes engaged, belly button pulled back slightly. Looking up, lifting. A little bit of a push, mostly lifting. As high as you can go. Deep breath. 2 long deep breaths. Slowly back down. Keep going. Just go at your own pace. Just make sure you get 2 long deep breaths at the top. Slowly down. Keep your thighs engaged, glutes engaged. Relax your arms as much as you can. We're about halfway done. Make sure still elbows are pulling back. So if you need to, pause and roll your shoulders back again. Pulling your elbows back and then squeezing them together.
I can destroy my back.
Keep going, a few more. Nice and slow. Don't let your shoulders disengage, so you're squeezing your elbows back and together slightly. Thighs engaged, glutes engaged. Try to relax your arms as much as possible, so you're using your back. And one more. Okay. Now, last upper body one is going to be a little bit easier. Good. So this one is, just put your hand on your hip. You're gonna reach your hand up. You're gonna reach as high as you can to lengthen out your side, then push with this hip and reach over. And you wanna make sure the reach, if you just tilt over, it's not gonna engage much. But if you really reach and get this as long as you can, so you already feel a little bit of a stretch down here, and then anchor here, and then push that hip over slightly as you reach the other way. You'll probably feel the stretch. It's going to vary somewhere on the side, maybe slightly in the front, maybe slightly in the back. And try and go straight to the side so you're not going forwards or backwards. This push can help. And you're just going to go slowly reach and at the end hold for a deep breath. And then come back and switch sides. Really elongate it as long as you can, like you're trying to lift yourself off the ground. And then reach over. Pushing your hip the other way. Come back. That was one. We're going to do 10 of these. Most of these things you just do 10 times, or about, for the other ones that are more static, we're going to do later for about 30 seconds. And if you're not feeling a stretch, reach higher before you tilt. So you want to feel a little bit of stretch already, and then tilt. And you're tilting at the torso, not as much at the hips. The hips might go a little bit, but mostly this is just anchoring it. You also feel that shoulder too. Just go at your own pace. So slow stretch, deep breath, repeat. Halfway done, keep going. Really long. For me, this stretches out all the areas I identified as areas that I get tight. I thought it was various workouts. I've tried changing my workouts and doing different stretches. And this, of all the ones I've found, is the one that seems to target all the areas where I get stiff and sore the most. I didn't make this up. I found this on YouTube. Okay, a few more. Last couple. Okay. So those are the upper body ones. So again, the options, there's the wall slides and chin tucks, and then the W's. That's one. There's the ones we just did. The side reaches is two. There's the, make sure I get all these, the cobras, arching up, and then there's the towels. So those are the upper body ones. Next ones are lower body ones. First one is hip flexor. So you're gonna go down to kneeling, and you wanna, the key on this one to make it work is roll your tailbone under and pull your belly button back. You can actually use your hand to push forward and pull back. You might already feel a stretch. I feel a stretch in my lower back already just doing this. And then get really straight and tall, and then shift forward as far as you need to. You're gonna feel a stretch across the front of your leg. If your hips aren't tucked, if they come untucked, you might lose the stretch. And once you get here, you're just gonna hold this for 30 seconds. And if you don't feel the stretch, then lean forward a little bit more, or tuck more. Keep breathing. You can also push your hips forward just a little bit more too, but keep your back up high and really keep your tailbone under. For me, because my belly button wants to roll forward so much, I just keep my hands here the whole time. Keep breathing, another 15 seconds. And relax, and switch sides. So before you do anything, get your tailbone under, belly button pulled back, and then shift forward, so that's much tighter. You don't need to go till it's painful, just go till it's tender. Keep your body tall, keep breathing. Halfway done. And relax. Okay. Next, you're going to go on all fours, shift your weight back slightly, put your hand in the back of your neck, and you're going to reach your arm out to the side and twist it under towards the other hand, and then reach just by moving your arm up, and you're trying to reach your elbow up and behind you. And you're going to feel stretched, might feel in your lower back, might be in your side. Hold that for a deep breath. And then come back, and we're just going to do that again 10 times. So bring it down, across, and under. You want to feel a little bit of stretch there, going one way, and then up. And twist your whole body, trying to reach your elbow up high behind you. Not just up, but also back. Under and up. You want your hips over your heels rather than forward. Up as high out as you can get. Hold it for a breath. And back. Everybody's going to feel these a little bit differently. This one for me is the least stretch of any so far, but I still feel it. Your mileage will vary. And not only just trying to reach your elbow up and behind you, but also looking up and behind you. Your arm barely moves, it's mostly your torso moving. A few more. One more. I'm not doing exactly 10 because I just want to go through, give you an idea of these, how they feel. Okay, other side. Under, turn, open, up. Oh, this side's much tighter. Hold for a deep breath. Back down. Wow. I have like 20 degrees less rotation on this side. Go on, a few more. The more uncomfortable these are, and the less pleasant, probably the more useful they are. And all these are slow motions, don't do anything fast and jerk something, especially if it's tender. The more tender it is, the more slowly you want to do it. Okay, next one. I've done these before, pigeon pose. I've never done them the way they suggested, up on some sort of surface. If you have a couch, it's handy. I'm just going to borrow this box so you can see. And pigeon pose is just this one where you put your knee across. I can do it right here. So you put your knee across this way. And then, the difference is you're doing it elevated. If you have something a little higher than this box is perfect. If you guys want to use the couch, you guys can do that. But you're going to straighten out, try and straighten out your back leg. So this really focuses on that square hip. Go ahead. And you're going to hold this for about 30 or 40 seconds. I find doing this on a kitchen table is even harder. And you can just move your upper body around a little bit to feel where the stretch feels tightest. About 10 more seconds. And release. And then other leg. And on this one, I especially notice lots of much bigger. Again, try and straighten the back leg, tucking your hips. And move or twist however you need to. Still breathe. Halfway done. All right, and slowly get out of that one however you can. Okay. Last one. So guys, come on back. Last one are going to be bridges. And like the other ones, one of the keys to make these work is really tuck your hips under. So one way you can do this laying here is use your thumbs to pull your pelvis bones backwards and your fingers to push your glutes up and forward. So get that really tucked under. And then you're just going to lift up really high. And they say if you've done all the other ones, you're going to feel much more out of these than before. Like normally I don't feel much of these, but I feel really a big stretch when you're going to hold it. Deep breath. And then go back down. If these are not feeling much, you can pick up one leg and just do one leg, which will make it much more intense. If you already feel it, don't worry about it. Just do it this way. But if you're not feeling it, then just pick up one leg and do those. And if you're not able to get your hips all the way up with one leg, then definitely don't do that. Wait until you get your hips up as high as your knees. Hold it for a deep breath. Back up. Again, we're going to do 10 of these. Everything is slow. Everything's slow. And if you pause after a few, check, make sure your tailbone is tucked under. If it isn't, you're not going to get much out of these. You can engage your glutes slightly in your abs to help that stay. Lifting up as high as you can. Just stick with 2. You want to get your hips higher. And at the top where you feel the stretch, hold it for a deep breath. Back down. About halfway done. One more. And I'll try to remember after class, I'll put a link to the video I found these in. I've tried various other postural things before, but they didn't seem to do very much, but those ones really get me in all the right places. And I've been trying to put it on my own to see if it works. It does seem to, so I'll put it in Discord under workouts. Okay. So there you go. And I try and do one of those at least every hour. So 45 minutes to an hour. Just stop, run through one of those. It should only take a couple of minutes at most, and then get back to what you're doing. It also works well. Stuff research I've shown says if you take a break for about 5 minutes every hour, you tend to be more productive. So if you're, I don't know, on the phone or typing a bunch of stuff, data entry or coding or whatever, take a break for 5 minutes just to like walk around, take breaths, do something. You can just add this into that, do one of these things. That should be helpful. So anyway, nice to meet you. Good night. All right, take 2, come back, and we're gonna do some takedowns. Okay, start heading back. We'll start in about 30 seconds. Hi guys. Okay, so takedowns are not the most useful tool for self-defense. In general, because in general in self-defense, my goal is to get away. But there are some situations where being able to fight on the ground and take people on the ground is super helpful, such as if it's a one-on-one and you want to try and not hurt the person, meaning if once you start throwing punches and elbows, somebody's probably gonna get hurt. Might be you, hopefully it'll be them if you have to do that. But the nice thing about if you take somebody to the ground, oftentimes, if you know what you're doing, you can submit them without getting hurt. So this isn't #1 tool, but they are helpful to know. And we're gonna run through each takedown. If you have a couch nearby, it might be helpful to tackle them onto the couch or onto the bed. Even if we've got mats, we're gonna go slowly here. If you don't have that or don't wanna use it, you can take them down to the floor, but you wanna go slowly and carefully. And generally the rule is if you can do a technique slowly and it still works, it's probably a good technique. If you have to do the technique fast, there are some advanced techniques where that's always gonna be true, especially if it's in the air. But if you have to do the technique fast to make it work, then it probably is not an excellent technique. There are exceptions, but that's generally the rule. So you should be able to do these slow. Okay, first one is just called double leg takedown. And most of these takedowns go on one of these principles. One is if my knees go forward, my hips go backwards, I'm gonna fall over my heels. And that's where a lot of these go. The other one is, these are ways of getting people to fall. One is get them on past their heels. Another one is edging them, getting them over the edge of the foot. Heels a little bit easier, but edges can work. Another one is twisting somebody, especially if you combine that twist with something else. Another is getting them up off the ground, whether that's 1 feet or both feet, and 8 with those. And another thing is twisting. That's just a tool you can use because this is really strong. When we talk about when we're doing Wing Chun stuff, this is really strong, so you can get a twist into it often. That'll help too. Okay, so first, double leg takedown. So kid is here. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna get the backs of his legs. It doesn't necessarily matter where, though I like the backs of the knees. I'm gonna push forward, and my goal is to get him to tip backwards. So I've got his knees are going forward, his upper body is going backwards, and you can just tip him over onto the couch or onto the mattress or slowly onto the floor. Or you can do a kid there, when he felt like he was gonna fall, he just tapped to let me know, okay, I'm just gonna fall. And after that, it would just be him practicing break falls. So you can just go to that tipping point. It's probably helpful at least once to go all the way to the takedown so you can get a feel for it. If you do go all the way down, which we'll do here, here's what we're gonna do next. So we'll go nice and slow. I go in, boom, I'm pushing backwards. I wanna push past his knees if possible. So if your knees are bent, I want to go bend your knees real quick. I want to push past his knees, so I have his hand down, partially so I don't hit myself in the groin on his knees, and partially because then I can hopefully shoot straight to mount, which is one of the best positions I want to be in on the ground. Okay, for various reasons. So just do that back and forth 3 or 4 times. We're not going to spend too much time on any one of these, but go ahead. I go at least once, try and take them all the way to the ground, and on the rest of them, at least go to that tipping point. So going forward, you can use the top of your head or your shoulder, pulling their legs backwards and or lifting, driving your shoulder or top of your head into them to make them tip backwards, and both of those put together. Good way to get into this is go next to him and just drop down to one knee. And do a couple more. You can go a little bit faster. Just be careful about the takedown. Yeah, good. Nice control, guys. Excellent. And do one more each. We'll go to the next one.
That's fun.
Okay. So note how to get into that. A lot of people want to do the running like football tackle like this, but it's much more effective if I do just the dropping here. I just drop down to one knee. One advantage of that is I get low and I get under their hands, so it's harder for them to punch me in the face and it's less predictable. The other is then I can explode up. And one way you can do this is if you can get their knees and can lift, you can get them to turn upside down and they'll just flip upside down and land on their upper back or head, which is, you know, in here is problematic, out there is, depending on how much damage you want to do and what surface you're on, more or less problematic. If you can get someone on their head on concrete, it's probably already over. But if you land on something else, take it up. So next, single leg takedown. We're going to start the easy way, but he's just going to give me one of his legs. Like he's throwing a kick. Just was a kick. Okay, I've got his leg. Now, here's the basic principle. Even if I just have this leg and I don't do anything else with the upper body, all I'm going to do is hold on to this leg, and I just want to turn one direction or the other very quickly. It's better if I can go backwards because he doesn't have toes and a foot sticking out the backside of his body. So I want to turn that way. If I go slow enough, he can hop with me. But if I go fast, then he's just going to fall down. And that's the basic principle of it. I can do a bunch of things to embellish it. So if I've got that, a couple things I can do. One, I can, let's hop this with the shows. I can take this hand, if I'm being nice, I can grab a handful of shirt and push while I turn. If I want to be less nice, I can do a palm heel to the chin, boom, while I turn. I can also knee him in the groin and land behind his foot. And then when I turn, he's going to go down. Even if I'm on the outside of his leg, so if I have his leg and I'm on the other side, so I could, here, I'm on this side of his leg, it works just as well, maybe even better, because here I can even kick out his leg as I turn or hook up, and I can turn him upside down, boom, as I kick and take him down that way. So just experiment with that. We'll do it just from standing with him, giving you the leg, and do that a few times per person per leg, and then we'll go to getting that single leg. Usually it's going to be because they're in a fighting stance or just standing, so there's one leg in front of the other. Okay, go ahead. So just give the other person your leg. And then grab onto it. And generally you want to turn towards their heel, not towards their toes. Yeah, good. Nice control, guys. Excellent. Perform like red belts. You want to be stationary, so if you're turning them, you want to be in place and you want to turn them. If you're turning, you're just going to orbit around each other. So ideally, you want to be rooted and then you turn you so that they have to move a lot. And that's key to helping them fall. If you are moving and they are moving, it's not going to work nearly as well. And do at least one from the outside of the leg. It's like, try to be usually step across to the opposite. And do one more each. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you want to do that, and they haven't thrown a kick, so he is here, and either he's in a fighting stance or he's just standing so that one leg is slightly in front, then all I have to do is go down and I'm going to grab that heel and pluck up. And once I've got that, without even coming up, I can just turn here and take him down. This is kind of getting into the low takedown, which is kind of similar, but I can just drop down, maybe even it's something like he's stepping forward to take a swing at me. I go down, and let's rewind. As soon as he throws that swing, I'm here, I pluck that leg up, turn towards his heel, and down he goes. Okay, so do that slowly. You can just have him take a step towards you, and then drop down and grab that front leg, or you can just have him standing there. And you're going to try and, I find scooping the back of the heel generally works best. You might find lifting the leg, it's going to depend slightly on their position, but just get their leg, hug it tight, and then you don't even necessarily need to come up. It might help to come up, but you just grab and generally turn so they're going backwards. Try that a couple times. So duck as soon as he throws the punch. Grab it, pluck, turn. And the untying belt defense. And try it at least once per leg per person.
It looks very difficult.
Okay, one more. And we'll go to one that's similar to that you can kind of use. It's kind of the ground version, or a slightly different variant on that. Yeah, nice. And what just happened there with Kid is he was going for the single leg. He was going for the single leg. It wasn't working. He just turned for the double leg by grabbing the other. Okay, cool. Now let's go to low. So low is going to rely basically on this principle. So if I got my foot up here, if you push someone's knee out, so if I'm just standing here and my knee goes out, I'm going to tend to buckle. Remember we talked about edging? You go off the edge of your foot. Now we do that. The last one we did, we scoop their foot this way and went off the back of the foot and then turn. This one I'm going to edge. So Kid's here. So I'm going to do something similar. I can use my hand or I can use my shoulder. So you've got one leg slightly in front. And I'm going to go down. This time I'm going to pin his foot so he can't move it. I'm going to push his knee the opposite direction.
Forgot to.
Yeah. Okay. So let's switch out. You can stay there and slowly switch out. So over here, I can also do it with my shoulder. So he's got a leg slightly in front. He steps down. I'm going to trap this foot. I can put my shoulder against it and push, or the opposite shoulder, or the hand. This one we used to do in karate. You just drop down and use your hands to pop it, and they tend to fall. Do this one slowly, because if you hit their knee really hard, you can, especially if they have a weak knee that way, you can dislocate their knee or tear some stuff on the inside. So pin the foot or actively push it the opposite direction. And you're thinking of applying force this way and that way, or anchoring this and then pushing this over it. Okay, so give that a try. And find whatever works best for you. You can try your shoulder, try your hand. Again, it's going to vary by the situation. So have one foot slightly in front, and then get drop down. He's doing it, so drop down. And then hold on, not this double leg. You don't have this one. Go here. This one pushes his knee that way. All right. So all you're doing is just making his foot look this way. You're pushing his knee this way, so he falls on the outside. You go nice and slow like that.
That's the inside.
No, go to the other hand. And then on the outside of his heel. This hand here. And then your other hand pushes knee straight towards me. And this one can kind of be used in conjunction or alongside or transition between this and the heel sweep one we did before, the other single leg. So you can pull their heel towards you. If that's not working, you can go for the knee and maybe they start resisting that, and you can go back to the heel again. And then you can switch from that to a double leg. So I'll try this one more time each. Okay. So next, rear takedown. I can get to this in a couple different ways. One, we can be in front. When we're doing the crash shears, I crash and get this hug. If I want to get around behind him, I can just lift his arm up and duck around, and now I'm behind him. And then what I'm going to do is move this way a little bit. I'm going to kind of do the splits. I just need to get this leg behind him, and then I'm going to fall this way. I'm going to go nice and slow. This one's harder to do slowly, but having a couch might be helpful. I'm just going to turn my body as I fall and take him down backwards over this leg. So if I were to come up behind him, I can do this too. So say he's hassling my friend, I can come up, get this bear hug from behind, shoot my weight to one side so my leg is out, and I just pull him backwards, keep this leg out straight, and turn and trip him up backwards over it. I might be able to do it even without going down myself, depending on my size of my partner. So I might be able to just come up, shoot my arm up, my leg out like this, and turn and take him down over it without going down myself. But if I want to ensure it, or if I want to be on the ground with them, I'm going to take it down. I'm just going to fall with them. Okay, again, do that one carefully. You can either start from the front, go under their arm, ground to the back, or just start from the back. But again, shift your weight to one side, get one leg out, and then slowly, you don't want them to fall on your leg and hyperextend it. They can try and just get the feel, tip them over it, or sit down on the ground and turn, take them down. Okay, give it a try a couple times.
What are you doing?
Yep, so grab, hug, now shift to one side. No, shift to one side. Go. Yeah, grab, from behind. Move your weight to one side. So step to one side, step to one side. Step this way over here. Now stick that leg out straight over here. Stick this leg straight up behind you over here. Now you're gonna sit down and pull him backwards over this leg. So turn this way. You're gonna go like this. You're gonna stick this leg out, and then watch. You're gonna sit down and turn so he goes backwards over that leg. So get a hug, shift your weight slightly to one side of theirs. You can kind of think of like you're starting to do the splits. Whichever leg you want to follow, you stick that out behind them and then turn towards it as you sit down towards that leg. So shoot that leg out straight. It's hard to do slow, especially if you're resisting, you have to go faster. Yeah, just go slow. So hug, shoot your weight to one side, stick your leg out, turn.
Wait, what? Your turn.
Hug, move your weight to one side. Step out to one side. Stick your leg straight out. Behind him, you want to go behind both his feet. Then all you're going to do is you're going to turn that way as you sit down on the ground or lay down. Exactly. Like that. Okay, do it one more time each.
I'm trying to get my arm, but I can't.
Get around behind. Shift your weight to one side. Get your leg out behind both of their legs. And then you want it out straight. Pull them over that leg as you turn. Yeah, you're going to step it out and behind both of you. You're going to get behind both of them. So try to move further to the side. You want your leg out behind it, and you're not behind. Get behind both of you. Behind both feet. Yeah, and then just turn that way, sit down, and take him down over your leg. Yeah, there you go. Good. Okay, cool. Now, one more main one we're going to do is trust. So I can do a kick out one. This one goes like this. So I'm going to be holding on from the front some way, and whichever way I'm going to want him to go, I'm going to do one step to get him comfortable with it. So I pull him that way once, and he's comfortable. The second time I go that way, I'm going to kick out his lower leg. I can be hitting in the calf or the ankle or wherever I want to get below the knee. I can do it as a sweep or as a roundhouse kick. It's going to depend on my partner and my position and whatnot. But generally, when I move him once, you're holding on to him, you move him once, and then the second time you move him, then you're going to kick out that leg as they step down with it. And do this one slowly and carefully. Partially so you don't just kick each other in the legs a bunch, and partially just so you don't hit the ground really hard. Okay. So grab a hold. This can be in a clinch or a half clinch, or just holding onto their shirt, just however you end up. Generally, you want to do it from this half clinch, one hand on their neck, the other one on their arm, something like that, like a judo starting position. But it can work however. So you grab on, pick a direction, move them that way once, just kind of jerk them sideways suddenly, and then the second time you do it, kick out into their lower leg. So you slowly, so you don't just keep doing the leg a bunch. And you can do it as a sweep too. So move it once, and the second time, yeah, it's easy if you do it very far.
Okay, how do we?
So,
Yeah, I know.
so grab on, hook his neck or his arm or whatever. Now I headlock. So now you're just going to move his whole body once. Hold it on the other hand. The second time you move him, stick your leg up and knock us. Kick out the seam. Okay, do it one more time each.
Hey, Mr. Austin, I'm not really sure we're understanding this one. Could you show us just one?
Yeah, I'll show it again. So here. So I'm grabbed on. It works especially well if I've got this hook on his neck. And if I've got whichever hook I've got, generally want to move him that way. It's going to be easier to move him that way. If I've just got a hold on him, I can do that too. So I'm going to move him once this way, and I move him pretty quick. So see, he already lost his balance a little bit. But the second time he's going to be a little bit more confident because he didn't go down the first time. So move this way a little bit. So as I go, I'm going to sweep this foot as he steps. And I'm hitting, it works especially well if you catch the back of their foot to make their foot go forward. So twist one, and then twist two, you can sweep out this way, catching the back of their foot, or if they're turning their back a little bit, you can roundhouse kick, more of a roundhouse kick motion out the back of that leg. So if you want to do it slow, get your right arm on, pull them to the left once. The second time, use your left foot and trap. So this person doing grab, they move once, trap the back of their foot and scoop it up a little bit as you turn. So let me do this slowly one more time. Okay. So here I've got Charles. I move him once. Then the second time, as I move him, I'm going to get this foot here on the back of his foot. And I can either edge him or pop his foot forward. But basically, I'm going to use this foot to get this leg out from under him. I could also roundhouse kick it, depending on how he's turned. And then keep on turning that way so that he falls. I'm using my arm too. And if you have that hooked on their head, you can get their head to turn. Anytime you can get their head to turn, especially look up, it's much easier to take them down too. So you can use those to help. And then the second time, other foot. You want to get your foot, feel this, maybe that, feel that. Okay, try it one more time each. And when you're moving them, you're rotating them around you. If you are both moving, it doesn't work as well as if you're turning and they're moving. Because if you look at a, say a CD or a record or anything that spins, the further out you go, that part is moving faster. So if you're fixed at the center and they're out here, they're going to have to move faster. So they're going to have more momentum and harder to keep their balance. If you're both moving, then you're going to be going about the same speed. So I'm going to be anchored and make them move around me. Okay, one more. And we'll go on to, let's see. We'll see how much time we have left. So one more. Okay, so let's talk real quick. Those are the basic ways. There's a bunch more advanced, tricky ways of getting people down. But let's talk about, there's this cool way of, if someone's about to take you down, called the Kimura trap. So I throw a kick, he's caught it, or he's doing a single leg takedown or whatever. So he's grabbed onto my leg, and he's moving close, he's about to take me down. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get hit, I'm gonna go for this arm back here. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this arm over, I wanna get his arm bent. And once he does, I'm gonna latch on here. And at this point, if we go down, I've got him right there, he just tapped, and he sort of fall. No, he didn't. Okay. Well, try to stay up. So here, okay, just trust. I throw it, he's got it tight, he's about to take me down. I'm gonna reach over to the far arm. I wanna catch the bend of his elbow. Then I'm gonna grab onto my own wrist that's caught on his arm. And from here, I've either got a really solid grip, or if we go down, we do this really slowly because we're different size, these mats aren't quite big enough. We go down, I am then rolling, and either I'm gonna catch him here, or he's gonna end up flipping over, doing a somersault here, and I let go so I wouldn't hurt him. But if I've got this in here, then I've got his arm.
This is not 6 feet.
And right there, he was already tapped. On second thought, this one's going to take a little while to get to, and we don't have that much time. Let's save that one for next time. And let's finish up with a little more stretching. So let's just do, on second thought, let's run through those exercises. I had this planned out, but the time didn't work quite how I thought it would. So let's run through those stretches we ran through at the beginning one more time. So first one is the wall one. And we're just do a couple of each, just because I think these are super helpful. So first one, back here against the wall, lower back, upper back, all pressed against the wall. And then elbows and hands against the wall. Duck your chin as you lift your hands up as high as they go. Hold the top for a deep breath. Come back down, keep all that on the wall, move your hands out to a W, bring them into your chest, and then back out. Then we'll do a second one, duck your chin, lift. Try to keep the back of your head against the wall, lower back, upper back, deep breath. Come down, make a W, into your shoulders, back up. Okay, that's one. Next, we're not gonna do it because we don't wanna get the towel, but this is where you get a towel or your belt, hold it wide enough. We'll just do the motions up, around, behind. For some people, just that motion is hard. Here, and if you want, you can try, even without the towel, try and have your hands closer, all the way around behind. So if you don't have a towel, you can just do that and do that closer position. And the main part is the stretch here through here. Okay, towel. Third one is this side stretch. So reach your hand up as tall as you can until you feel a stretch. Put your hand on your hip, and then anchor here, tilt to the side as far as you can, feel a stretch, take a deep breath. And then switch, reach up tall, hand on your hip, reach, come back. Okay, and last one, adjusting my camera, Cobra. This one's hard, but also excellent. Let's run backwards. And stuff to remember on this one, feet about shoulder width, engage your thighs, belly button tucks, your pelvis tucked under, hands under your shoulders, roll your shoulders up, back, and down, squeeze your elbows together. And then you want to lift using your back slowly, one vertebra at a time, look up and behind you. Your arms are just barely helping. Hold the top for 2 deep breaths. And then come back down. And one more, squeezing glutes, squeezing your thighs, lift up. And down. Okay, leg ones. We only have a minute, so I'll run through these really quick. First is here, tucking tailbone under, pulling your belly button back. We did this for 30 seconds. We'll just do it for about 5 seconds per side. Pushing your hips forward, straighten your back, lifting up. And then switch. Other foot out in front, tailbone under, belly button pulled back. Okay, good. And coming back. Now, call these quadruped rotations. If you're in this quadrupedal position, shift your hips back a little bit, hand on your neck, and turn, reach under, rotate, reach up and out, lifting and looking up behind you, and then come back and switch to the other side, hand on your neck, reach under, turn. You want to turn your torso, your arm might move. Your main goal is to look up and behind you. Come back. Okay. Then the last two, we don't have time for, but it's the pigeon pose, putting your leg across a couch or a table or just something elevated, straightening your back leg and stretching there. And then last, bridges, making sure you've got this hip tuck, belly button pulled back. And then generally do that one last because all the rest loosen that one up so that you can do that one and actually feel it versus just do that stretch and everything's too tight to feel it. Okay, so quick overview. We're at a time, so facing me. Okay, I will see you all next time.